In a previous video, I talked about the Level 3 exam and gave some general advice on how to prepare for it. In this video, I will describe IFT's products and services and how to prepare for the Level 3 exam with IFT. So what you see here is IFT's products and services. Our most popular product is the video lectures, and these are closely aligned with the curriculum. Now, before I go on, I want to say a little bit about the Level 3 curriculum. You might have passed the Level 1 exam without spending much time on the curriculum. Some people even managed to clear Level 2 without consulting the curriculum. But this is going to be very difficult at Level 3. I would say that reading the curriculum, or at least going over most of the curriculum at Level 3 is essential. Now, what will help you here is that at Level 3 we have much fewer readings compared to Level 1 and 2, and also at Level 3 the volume of material, the number of pages, is also much less than Level 1 and Level 2. In fact, the number of pages in the curriculum is not that much more than the number of pages in some of the leading prep provider notes. So end of the day, the exam is based on the curriculum, therefore you must cover the curriculum, and I'll talk more about this later. Next we come to IFT notes. These notes are also aligned with the curriculum, so I want you to have the curriculum open as you study, but what the notes do is they emphasize the most important points in the curriculum. Once you've understood the concepts from the curriculum, the notes help you remember the most important points. For those who like to use the notes as their primary study material, I would still say that you should have the curriculum open for two reasons. One, the notes don't always give a lot of detail, so the notes will just give the main points. If you want more detail, that's in the curriculum. Also, in the notes, we ask you to go to the curriculum and work through examples and practice problems. So you can't get away from the curriculum. We also offer quizzes. So for every study session, there will be quizzes, both in an item set format and in a structured response format. Q&A with IFT. Now, if you are going through the curriculum or through the IFT material and you have questions, then through this service, you can share your question with us and an IFT instructor will respond to your question. We do this using a closed group on LinkedIn, which means that you will get responses to your questions and you will also be able to see questions from other students. Our mock exam is a full-length exam, so there is a 3-hour structured response exam and then a 3-hour item set exam, and this will give you a good sense for what your final exam will look like. In the final 3 months before the exam, I run an online class. So these are weekly classes where I go over questions from essay exams that were conducted in the past. And the intent here is to help you learn exactly how to deal with the essay exams. Obviously, you'll be learning this as you go along, but over here we take actual questions from past papers and make sure that you know how to deal with them. Let's talk about your study strategy now. Broadly speaking, there are 4 steps. You need to define your schedule. Then the major step is study and practice. I then recommend 2 review cycles. So in a sense, this is your first review. Here we have a second review and then a final review before your actual exam. So let's talk about the schedule first. When you start your studies, you need to define your schedule. This is based on when you are starting. So some people start earlier, other people start later. So define a schedule. Now this schedule should be such that you leave 2 months at the end for review and practice. So I would say that there should be approximately 1 month for this second review and practice phase and another 1 month for the final review, which means that you should go through the entire curriculum at least once 2 months before the final exam. So if your final exam is in early June, then by the end of March you should have finished at least one cycle of the whole curriculum. Now, in order to help you do that, you can use this template, which you can get from our website. Now, in this template, we've listed all the readings, and we've also shown the length of the video lectures. So this will give you a sense for which readings are long, which readings are short. In this template, you can define what date you will be done by, and my definition of being done with a reading is that you have completed the practice problems in the curriculum. So define this schedule. This should take a couple of days to set up your schedule. Then step 2 is to study and practice. And this is really the major step in this entire process. Now here you need to understand concepts, and then you also need to practice or do some active learning, and I'll talk about that. In terms of understanding concepts, I would say that the curriculum should be at the heart of your studies. So have the curriculum open, listen to the video lectures, and as I said before, these video lectures are aligned with the curriculum. So literally the sections in the video lectures are synchronized with the sections in the curriculum. During these video lectures, when I come to an example in the curriculum, at times I will talk a little bit about the example. Where I feel it's more appropriate, I'll ask you to do the example. So you have to then attempt that example, and then if you don't understand it, make sure you go over the solution. Now this is active learning, because as you learn a concept, you then apply it, and by applying it, you internalize the idea. The IFT notes, as I said earlier, are a summary of the curriculum. So if you just want to review what you've learned, or you want to see what were the most important points, you can refer to the IFT notes. As you study, I strongly encourage you to make notes. What many students do is print out the slides associated with the videos, and then they make notes in the slides. Other people might make notes in the curriculum or in the IFT notes on the side. You can figure out what works best for you, but I strongly encourage you to make your own notes, because later on when you revise, it's always easier to do so from your own notes. Now, I've talked about active learning in the sense that as you are listening to the video, you should do the curriculum examples. When you are done with a video, you must do the practice problems at the end of a reading, and that's what really helps you understand the main points. In this phase, you don't have to spend a lot of time on the CFA Institute essay exams. These are exams that have been conducted in the past, but I'd still encourage you to see a few exams so that you understand the template, and so you understand how the questions need to be answered. Over here, the practice problems in the curriculum, the answers in the curriculum are very long, and the intent with the answers is to reinforce the important points. This is not how you will be answering questions on your actual exam. The CFA Institute exams and the sample answers that you get along with them give you a better idea of how to respond. But really, at this stage, your main objective is to understand the concepts. We now come to the second review and practice stage. So in a sense, this was your first run through the curriculum. This is your second run. You need to review and revise what you've done before, but the real key here is lots of practice. The assumption is that you are starting this in early April, and you already have a sense for what is in the curriculum. Now you need to practice a lot. There will be material that you've forgotten, so you review that from your notes or from the IFT notes, and then you do the IFT study session quizzes. So for every study session, there are quizzes. There will be an item set quiz, there will be an essay quiz, so make sure you do those. There will be online assessments. So when you log on to the CFA Institute website, there will be assessments. You must do those. These assessments are organized by topics, and these are all in MCQ format. So they are the case study MCQ format that you saw at level 2. You should also get essay exams from past years and work through those. We will release a document that will tell you which questions are still relevant. The curriculum changes every year, so there will be some questions from past years that are no longer relevant, and we share a spreadsheet where we tell you which questions are no longer relevant. But doing these exams from past years is absolutely essential. This helps you prepare for the essay exam, and people who do not do this often struggle on the essay exam. And then we come to the final review and practice. So again, keep doing the online assessments, and you can also go back and revise all the questions that you've done in the past. So I say that you should have gone through the curriculum questions 3 times. So you will have gone through them once over here, a second time over here, and a third time during your final review and practice. And again, if you've not done the online assessments during this phase, then do that over here. Even if you've done those before, do them again, and especially focus on the case studies where you had problems. Make sure you do the CFA Institute essay exams. Now you started that process here and you continue in this final phase. You should do the essay exams that you've not done in the past. You should also go back to essay exams that you might have done before and go over them again. So for questions that you had issues with, try doing them again. And then this is a good time to also do the IFT mock exams. If you still have time, you can do mock exams from other prep providers, but I keep saying that the biggest priority should be to first do all the questions that you get from the CFA Institute. And the logic is fairly simple. At the end of the day, it is the CFA Institute that is making your exam, and the exam is based on the curriculum. So you should focus on the curriculum and focus on the practice problems that have been given to you by CFA Institute. So that is it in terms of your study strategy. Now, obviously, I would encourage you to start your preparation. You can begin your IFT free trial. So you don't need to pay anything. You can just start using the material and determine whether my style suits you or not. If it does, then you choose a study package that works best for you. And these study packages are explained on our website. You can then get registered and start your studies. The earlier you start, the better. Even if you don't use our material, you can visit our website and get some free resources. If you have any questions, please contact our support team. So that is it. Best of luck with your studies.